Hi everyone, sorry practice is late today. I don't have a good excuse. We're talking about transitions, so we're going to start with some off-skate stuff to talk about our transitions. This is something that a lot of our new folks are still working on, but I'm going to be including some good reminders for our vets. And we're going to talk about one-footed transitions and some jumping transitions, things you can do for those. So, first thing I want to address, I think the majority of us struggle with transitions because we struggle to pick up our feet, or at least pick up our heels and toes. So we're going to start by being in our sneakers or in our bare feet, and we're going to practice pivoting on our heels and toes just to get the move of it. So everyone's favorite, we're going to do tic-tacs. So if you need to start with just one, just pick up your heel and toe. Walk it out. When that feels good, we're going to do both. Really think about where your body weight is when you're doing this. Try to keep your knees bent nice and low. Correct when you can while still keeping your heels and toes up. If you can speed it up, go ahead. You can make them really big. That would be great. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, because another problem we tend to have is swinging that leg really wide when we come around. So if we're doing our transition, we tend to go like this. We don't want to go like that. We want everything to kind of stay aligned, be nice and tight. We don't want to trip any of our teammates. When we're doing these transitions, we want to compact, safe, good transitions. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up in that nice stagger. You typically should be staggered when you're doing a transition, or at least when we're learning to do transitions. And remember that we're going to take the path of least resistance. So don't try to step over your own leg. Path of least resistance. Open that door. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant our toes. We're going this way. And I want your feet to stay in the exact spot. You're going to pick up your heels and twist. Now since I'm going back, I'm going to pick up my toes and twist. Keep yourself low. If you're still working on the steps for this, remember that we want to look, open, turn. Look, open, turn. You can do these fast if you're feeling good about it. I need to work on balance, clearly. Make sure you work both sides. I want to do two more things off skates for us. So for folks that are looking for something a little bit more advanced, and I know this is something I'm working on, wanting to jump while we transition. So as we're skating, turning this way, we're going to do very similar to what we just did, but make sure we're leaving the ground, because you got to be able to do it off skates before you can do it on skates, right? So set yourself up, make sure you're nice and low, turn and look. Make sure you're landing in good derby stance. Part of the reason we struggle with these is that we bail a little too early. We get scared and we bail too early. Or we land too tall and we don't feel stable. Let yourself land before you keep skating. Once you get this part down, then you can speed things up. I'm using my lovely bar linoleum here, trying to stay within these two tiles right here when I do things, so I know everything's going to be nice and tight. Okay, last thing we're going to do off skates is for folks who are working on a single foot transition. When I'm teaching folks, I usually teach them there are two ways to do a single foot, and one of those is to go from one foot to the other. I'm not going to worry about that today. I want to just talk about one single foot. And I find that these have the most control when you do not leave the ground. Folks who have been skating longer than me might have different thoughts on that. Feel free to reply to the email, letting us know what your thoughts on that are, if you have them. But what we're going to do is be on that 1 foot, and we're just going to practice pivoting. This is good to work on your balance too. Think about what your feet are doing. I know right now I've got some pretty serious, like, monkey grabbing toe going on inside my shoe. It's too high on that one. Think about where your balance is. Think about what your core is doing. So now we will go put on our skates. Okay, we're back. We're going to do a lot of the same stuff, but on our skates now. So we're going to start with those Tic Tacs. Again, if you need to start by working it out 1 foot at a time, eventually we want to challenge yourself on these to see how long you can hold or how big of a Tic Tac you can do. Something else we can do to get comfortable being on just our heels or toes. I think of these as going for strolls. I don't know what they're actually called. I think Powder taught these to most of us. But we're going to skate, and we're going to focus on being on just our heels or just our toes or a combination. So, I go like this. And again, this is just to help us be comfortable picking up parts of our feet, not relying on the whole bottom of our skate to get us moving. Let's go for a stroll a couple of times. Figure it out. Once that feels good, do some transitions, dude. Think about low, look, turn. Back to the basics. We're low, we look, we turn. Low, look, turn. Don't forget to throw that ass. That makes things roughly 3 times easier. Throwing that ass gives you some momentum to bring it around. Stay in control though, don't throw it too hard. Alright, if you feel good about that and you're ready for some jumping transitions, I started doing a lot of these with an agility ladder off skates, and that's what made me able to do them a little bit better. My next goal is to get a little bit higher, because mine are not very high. But again, think about that low, look, leaping, make sure you give yourself time to adjust when you land. And you don't have to do these very fast. to make sure you're getting up in the air and turning. Just make sure you're giving yourself enough momentum upwards. One-footed is something that I am still personally working on, but this is our time to do it. As always, low look turn. I'll keep working on that one. Make sure you do your weak side twice as much as your good side. That's all I've got. Feel free to correct me, instill more knowledge in me. Questions? Thanks, guys.